Hey everybody, welcome back to the weekly. We have all kinds of technical problems going on right now. But you know what? We're going to charge ahead probably, maybe. I don't know. So this may be the last weekly that you ever get to watch. So let's savor every minute of it. This is your update video. As I said earlier in our failed launch of the weekly here, this is your update video for March 28th, 2022. And I hope you guys are doing well today. I've got three things for you today that I want to walk through. They are, everything is new today. I have no reminders. I have no recycled material. This is all fresh, brand new content coming to you here on your Monday evening. Okay, well, let's walk through it, and then I'll go through the order of service for this coming weekend, and I'll send you off. I kind of like doing these here late at night. It's just like a fun way to unwind and talk about what's coming up with the worship team. Okay, first thing that I want to go through, I want to talk about the children's choir, because most of you should be aware by now that we've started a children's choir, and we've had a very active children's choir since September of 2021. And I guess I should say in our post-COVID life of FB Maryville, we've restarted the children's choir and had it active since September of 2021. And in that time, we have it has grown. The numbers have grown. I don't want to say exponentially, but it hasn't been a trickle either. There has been definite growth and a lot of energy around this ensemble. In fact, to the point where we split the ensemble back in January, and we now have a K2 kindergarten through second grade children's choir, and we now have a third grade through sixth grade children's choir. And they've been hard at work all this spring. Of course, they've had to deal with some challenges in regard to winter storms and getting iced out and snowed out. But they have a big performance coming up here in 2 weeks that I want to make sure you know about. And they're going to be performing a play called The Tale of Three Trees. And this is, I believe, a children's book that originally was written and adapted into kind of a short musical that really works well and centers around Easter. And Alicia and Colleen approached me about this back in, I think it was December of last year, and presented it as an option for Palm Sunday, and I loved it. I watched a recording of it on YouTube, and you can go look for it and watch it if you want to. However, I'm going to encourage you to not spoil the story, but come out on Sunday, April 10th, and watch it live for yourself during both Sunday morning services. Like I said, they've been working hard to put this together. And in fact, last Wednesday night, I got to sit in on auditions for some of the solo parts. And I was very encouraged by the amount of young talent that we've got, young musical talent, I should say, that we've got in our church. We had a number of really fantastic auditions, and there are young voices that I would feel comfortable finding a spot for them now on Sunday morning. They've just got some really strong vocal control and some really strong vocal performance. But also, this is very exciting for the years to come as we disciple these young musicians and these young artists and teach them what it means to honor God and what it means to build his kingdom using the gifts and talents that he has given them. So I hope you are as excited and eagerly anticipate the future of what that can be for our church family. But I've heard many different parts of this musical throughout the weeks, just walking by and listening to their rehearsals, and I'm really looking forward to this. So make Sunday, April 10th, make that a priority to be a part of those services live in-house, because you're not going to want to miss that. We will, just some practical things, that morning we will do a shorter musical set so that the children's choir has an opportunity to present their full musical. For those of you who have kids who are participating, I did want to give a couple of reminders, because I know we do have some team members, or we have several team members with children who are involved. The first reminder is this: there will be a dress rehearsal next Sunday, April 3rd, from 3 to 4:30 p.m. in the worship center. So make sure that that's on your calendar. Like last week's rehearsal, we're gonna feed the children pizza, and we'll have some snacks and things for them afterwards. But that performance, make sure whenever you drop them off, don't take them upstairs to the preteen room, to their regular rehearsal space. Bring them straight into the worship center at 3 o'clock. Also, next Wednesday dress rehearsal is April 6th. That'll be 5:15 to 6:15 p.m. That'll be their regular performance time. And I will say, if this changes, we'll send out some communication on this. But I would say go ahead and plan to take your kids to their regular rehearsal space instead of bringing them to the worship center, even though that's worship center, I think, is where they will end up. Taking them to their regular rehearsal space will give you an opportunity to get them checked in and make sure that all of those T's are crossed and I's dotted there. Okay? Very good. Children's Choir, April 10th. Make sure it's on your calendar. Okay, so the meat of what I want to talk about today is stage presence. This is something that is every ensemble that I've been a part of, that I've played in myself, whether amateur ensemble or professional ensemble, every ensemble that I've directed, stage presence has always been something that is a struggle. And not necessarily a struggle because it's not difficult conceptually to grasp, but it's something that I just don't think we as performers, we get so focused on the music, we get so focused on the part that we're playing and the role that we have to play, that it's easy to remove yourself from the person that you're serving. You have to remember, as artists and as musicians, we do not perform in a vacuum. We don't perform for the walls, even though we spend hours practicing, and the only thing that's listening are oftentimes the walls. Maybe sometimes angry neighbors if you live in apartment buildings. I've been there, done that. I've been in situations where I've had to practice trombone at, midnight in a small apartment. Been there. But remember, we are not just playing for the walls. We're not even just playing for ourselves and for our own pleasure, though that is a part of it. Our primary focus is the people that we're serving. And I know that someone's going to stop me and go, no, your primary focus should be God. Well, yes, but the way that you focus on serving the Lord well is serving his people well. That's part of exercising dominion. That's part of why he created us, is to serve his people and to love them well. So I want to talk about stage presence today. I want to walk through this. I think that this is an area where we have a lot of growth potential. I think that the nature of what we do, and just the environment in which we do it, I think that it lends itself to be in a difficult situation in which to perform well and to, demonstrate good, healthy stage presence. When I was in college, and this was my undergrad years, when I was in college, we had ongoing recitals that we would participate in. We called them juries, but then we also had regular recitals throughout the weeks or throughout the months. And as we got closer to the end of the semester, we would have a recital for the particular studio that you were a part of, and then you'd have recitals for the larger music school or music department. And then you would also, as kind of the pinnacle of you graduating from the program, whatever, whether you're a vocalist or an instrumentalist, you would put on an hour or hour and a half length recital of music that was written specifically to feature your instrument or your voice. And through all of the preparation for recitals and juries and of course your large final, or maybe you had 2 final works, I only had 1 in my undergrad years, our professors would spend a lot of time talking about stage presence. And in fact, they that was one component to our critique that they would be giving us, is how we did at presenting ourselves on stage. And so during those years, this has probably been 15 or 20 years now ago, during those years, a resource was put in my hand that I found very valuable, though I don't think I've had this book out for probably at least 5 years. I pulled this off the shelf today and just kind of skimmed through some of my highlights from it. But it was an excellent book, and there are some things in here that I've definitely internalized just in my practice of performance and leadership. This book is by Dr. Karen Hagberg. This book is called Stage Presence from Head to Toe. And Dr. Hagberg, she is a consultant. She works for different performing and touring ensembles and works primarily with live acoustic music. So she's working in more of kind of the art music or the classical music field. However, all of her tips and all of her principles that she gives, they translate across genre as far as music is concerned. So the first thing I want to do, I just want to put this resource in your hand and say, if you have a way to check it out, it's a good read, okay? It's not necessary. I guess it's not 100% necessary because you can find other training, but I feel like she gives as thorough of an overview of stage presence as I have found. So just wanted to highlight it there. But I wanted to give you her philosophy, and what I'd like to do is give you her philosophy. I want to show you an example of an approach to stage presence, and then I want to give you some of my practical tips that I follow and that I want to encourage you to follow whenever it comes to developing better, not only stage presence, but enthusiasm on Sunday mornings. Okay? So first, let's talk about what's her philosophy whenever it comes to stage presence. Well, here in the opening chapter, she's laying out the topic, and she says, stage presence is not simply a long list of rules of behavior. No rule book exists that prescribes the proper way to perform in all settings at all times. Good stage presence, like music itself, is an art, a clear expression of the disciplined musician's respect. This is the key here. A clear expression of the disciplined musician's respect for the music, for the audience, for other musicians, and for himself or herself. So that's the key right there. Good stage presence, it is an expression of the disciplined musician's respect for the music, for the audience, for other musicians, and for himself or herself. So as I think about where we are as a team right now, and I think about our level of stage presence, our level of enthusiasm, our level of engagement, I think that our congregation can be a good thermometer of gauging where we are as a team. Now, I know that often I'll make the comment, because I make this comment too. I'll look out at the congregation on Sunday morning and say, man, it is dead out there. What's going on out there? Forgetting that one of the principles of leadership is that your followers will never exceed you. They will never go beyond what you give. And obviously, this is a principle. I'm using words like always and never. Okay, so forgive me there. But as a principle, principles are generally true, though they are not mathematically true all 100% of the time. But generally, Followers don't outperform their leaders. So that means that on Sunday morning, if we come with a lack of enthusiasm, if we don't bring a respect for the music that we're doing, a respect for the people that we're serving, a respect and honor for God our Father, who's our Creator in heaven, if we don't bring that with us on Sunday morning, we cannot expect the congregation, the ones we're called to selflessly and sacrificially serve, we cannot expect them to bring enthusiasm and energy and excitement back to us. So that means we need to focus on excitement, enthusiasm, and energy. I can anticipate the objection, yeah, but it's so early in the morning, or yeah, you can't be excited every week. You can't be excited all the time. That's unrealistic. Nobody's happy all the time. Well, this is not about happiness. This is not even about being in a good mood. This is about enthusiasm for the calling that God has placed on your life. I think that as we go from weekend to weekend, I've talked about this in the past too, that as we go from weekend to weekend, it is very easy to automate, to lock ourselves into autopilot, and for mediocrity to slip in. However, if you approach it in a professional manner, if you approach it as professional, then enthusiasm, good stage presence, being excited about what it is you're called to do, has nothing to do with your mood. It has nothing to do with what you've experienced that morning or that week. It has nothing to do with suffering or pain. It has everything to do with a commitment to loving the music, loving the people, loving the calling and the vocation that the Lord has put upon your life. Okay, so let's pause just here for a moment. Let's take a look at just some really fine stage presence. You guys ready for this? I think this is just gonna blow your mind.
We've got all the potential power God could ever give. Now we stand up on our legal rights and boldly make them live. The renewed mind is the key to the power that we need. The world is gonna see that it's Christ in me. The renewed mind is the key to the Christ in me. The renewed mind is the key to the Christ in me. The renewed mind is the key to the Christ in me.
So no, that's not what you should do at all. But I'm just really entertained by that little performance there. I'm not even going to critique what they were doing. Obviously, that was ridiculous. Anyway, I want to use this here as a transition to move on from laying the base here of talking about respect, and I want to move on to some practical things. Now, I think I'm going to pull this book back out here, and this is definitely not a one-time conversation as in an update video. This is not just a one-time conversation for a few minutes in an update video. This is a longer conversation. But here I want to give you some practical tips for bringing more energy on Sunday morning. And I apologize, guys. It looks like my audio is doing some weird things here. Let me see if I can figure this out real quick. Hold on. Be right back. Here we go. Are we better? Nope, we're not better. Sorry. Here are some tips. This will allow us to better bring some good stage presence, some enthusiasm on Sunday morning. And I've got 4 things for you here, and then we're going to move on and we'll talk about the set for this weekend. Number 1, go to bed at a reasonable time on Saturday night. The weekends that you're leading. Go to bed at a reasonable time on Saturday night. This is kind of a no-brainer, but I know that our lives get busy. I know that that there is often no margin at the end of the week. However, I as part of your service and as part of taking seriously and respecting the people that you are serving, one of the ways that you can do that is aiming for a good early time, bedtime, I guess, on Saturday evening. This is one of the things I aim on Saturday nights to be, to shut things down mentally and to really start kind of moving toward sleep somewhere between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. on Saturday evenings. I'm not saying that's what you have to do. I get up exceptionally early on Sunday mornings and get to church exceptionally early on Sunday mornings. And so for me, having an early Saturday night bedtime that is really just nuts, that's really important for me to be 100% and to give my best on Saturday. But think about that for you. What does that look like? All of us need different levels of sleep. Some of us need 8 hours. Some of us need 6 hours. Some of us can function well on 4 or 5. I know that that everyone is wired differently. But think about that for you. What do you need from a sleep standpoint in order to give enthusiasm and lead well on a Sunday morning? The second thing is, on Sunday morning, whenever you wake up, what do you need to do in order that when you walk through the door, and then this is when you walk through the door of the church, not whenever we get to 9 o'clock service. This is when you walk through the door. What do you need to do in order to be enthusiastic? Okay, for me, I need to eat something that's high protein, that's going to give me a lot of energy. I probably need to get some coffee in me. Now, I know for vocalists, it's probably not going to be your ideal, but for me, if I'm not doing something with the choir, I'm going to lean a little heavier on the caffeine, and then do some type of warm up. For vocalists, you guys know how to do this. Instrumentalists, you know the same thing. Do some type of warm up. If that means getting to church early before rehearsal starts and warming up there, that's okay. You're welcome to do that, and you're open to do that. If that means that you need to do something at home, that's fine. This is even for those of you doing tech. You need to do something to warm you up. There was a team, one of the expeditions in Antarctica. I know I've talked about Ernest Shackleton before. This is not an Ernest Shackleton story. There was another Antarctica expedition led by, and I can't remember the gent's name right now who led them, but one of the things that he made his team do every morning is the first 3 minutes or 4 minutes or 5 minutes of the day, somewhere around in there, he would make his team get up, get out of their tents, get out from underneath their nice warm blankets, or as warm as you could be in Antarctica, and spend those first few minutes out in the cold, just to really shake off the morning peevishness, that can come on. This overwhelming kind of feeling. I call it the gravity back to the pillow. You have to do something to break the orbit of your head around the pillow. In the winter months, get outside, get a few minutes outside. And if it's 0 degrees, it's going to work even quicker. But you have to do something to pull the gravity of your body away from the pillow and toward your service on Sunday morning. Number 3, be prepared beyond a shadow of a doubt. If you are thinking about if there's any question in your mind about what's happening, whether it be your chord changes, whether it be your lyrics, or even the simple order of the service, if there's any doubt in your mind about what's happening, you are not going to be able to lead with enthusiasm, with confidence, with energy, and with excitement. The best way to break your connection with the congregation is to bury your head in a sheet of music, or to glue your eyeballs to the back screen to the lyrics. That's one of the best ways to do that. And so be prepared beyond a shadow of a doubt. We give you lots of resources to prepare. And if there's something lacking, let me know, because I I want to equip you and give you the tools that you need to be prepared at an exceptionally high level. So if there's something more you need, please let me know. And then number 4, last thing, has to do with mindset. You have to reinforce this mindset. What you do today, this means on a Sunday or anytime you're serving, anytime you're going to be on stage before an audience, what you do today will last forever. What you do today will last forever. This is not just a worship leading principle. This is a principle of being an artist. Artists shape souls. Artists shape culture. Artists create the kinds of culture that we all want to be a part of. We want to be a part of a growing, life-giving culture. You know, as you read or listen to the news cycle right now, there is plenty of ways that our culture is deteriorating. But as God's people, as those given a dominion mandate, we are called to be culture builders. And so when you perform, whether you're performing worship music, whether you're performing classical work, or you're performing with an ensemble, or it's a soloist or a small ensemble, you are doing eternal work. And I want you to have that mindset. What you do today will last forever. And especially whenever it comes to leading people in worship. What you do today will last forever. Okay, well, those are my simple thoughts on stage presence. I hope this is really helpful for you guys. Like I said, it's a conversation that I want to continue bringing up time and time again, and until we really start to make some progress, because I think we do need to make some progress in this area. I think there are weekends whenever there's just not energy, excitement, enthusiasm, joy coming off the stage. And I want us to work hard to steer the ship in a healthier direction there. Okay? All right, let's wrap things up today. Let's talk about what's coming up as far as the set for Sunday morning. We've got God for Us, which we will do right at the top of the hour. No pre-service song this weekend. We'll go right into Welcome and Greeting, and then Drenched in Love, led by Terry. Then the next 2 songs we are going to do as a combination. They're going to kind of lead one into the other. So it'll be Do It Again and Believe For It, which we just did Believe For It this past weekend. But I will create in Do It Again and Believe For It, I'll create both of those with in Do It Again, I'll create an arrangement that has this combination, and then in Believe For It, I'll also create an arrangement that has this combination of the 2 songs. You can listen to them. I'll upload the recording. Those who are vocalists, I actually sent out a recording of this earlier, so you could kind of get an early idea of what I'm looking at here. But tomorrow, look in Planning Center, because you'll see rehearsal tracks for this. You'll see the chord charts that you need, and then you'll see a combined recording. Total, this section will be about 11 and a half minutes. But I think this can be a really cool mashup here. Now, I'm still working out keys with Joe and Sheila on this as far as where this will land. But keep an eye on that. And then let me make a quick adjustment here. And then at the end of the service, we're going to do... come on. Where are you? Sorry, guys. This is not coming up. There we go. At the end of the service, we're going to do My Worth Is Not in What I Own. This is key of C. This has been in the set a few times. It's not it doesn't come back very often, but it's going to be a really great end to our service for Sunday morning. Okay. Well, everybody, I have a set list over my face. There we go. That's better. Well, everybody, I hope you guys have a good week this week. Look forward to serving with you on Sunday morning. This Sunday morning, I'm actually going to be upstairs with the students, so we'll have other folks playing, filling some of my roles. But I'll still be there for rehearsal for the early team, and looking forward to serving with you guys. You guys have a good week. If there's anything you need, feel free to reach out. Take